Okay, Tex. I've been meaning to tell you this, and it's gotta be done right away. As AGM, I've been doing things nice and quiet, keeping in the background, you know. You, however, Mr. Always out there in the public, and now, you brought DiBiase and JBL in on some millionaire club with you. Actually out here, wrestling matches again on the regular. And yeah, I've got a problem with all that.
Yeah, if you got a problem with what I did, Steve, it's a personal problem, but I understand where you're coming from. See, I did not forget that you two are a Memphis millionaire, and I did not forget that you might want to be part of Money Incorporated V2, so only thing is, you just never bothered to ask. Would you like to join us?
You mean as of right now?
As of right now.
I'm in. Let me get moving, though. Bring Ted and Layfield to the next lunch meeting. See what we can cook up together.
Well, I guess I'd better get going too, Steve. Me and the hangman got a little bit of business together. Catch you later.
Fans, welcome back to the second half of tonight's RWL Rage in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Don Hickson, Christy Ogilvie, and Myron Schimmelman here. The second half definitely shaping up to be something out of the ordinary, something we don't see every week here on RWL Rage. You're not kidding. We're starting off with a ladies' four-way elimination match. And get this, the winner becomes the number one contender of the Snarl Women's Championship held by Liberty Bell Danielle Heathcote. There's our four big matches in the next hour, including our main event, but let's get back to that first one we just talked about. Hey ladies, last woman standing elimination four-way, the winner becoming the number one contender for the RWL Snarl Women's Championship. Will it be Grace Fenwick, Faye Crawford, Crystal Gabor, or Brenda Blair?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Our second half opening match is a four-way elimination match with a 20-minute time limit, no countouts, and no disqualifications. And the winner, the last woman standing, will be the number one contender for the RWL Snarl Women's Championship. Introducing first, from Fairfield, Connecticut, the Fairfield Fox, Faye Crawford.
By Jove, it's the Fox. Faye Crawford, the Fairfield Fox, has done it all. Been women's international champion, been tag team champions with Crystal Gabor, and she's always in these multi-person fight deals. But if it's last woman standing, Crawford might just do it. We've seen Miss Girl survive steel cages, elimination chambers, you name it, Crawford has done it. But she does have the potential to outlast the other three, and ooh, she likes to play rough.
Next to come down the aisle, she hails from Palaca, Florida, the leopard print lovely Crystal Gabor.
Myron, I know you look on Crystal Gabor as some sort of adopted niece, so I'm sure you're rooting for Crystal to win this matchup and become the number one contender for the Snarl Women's Championship. I can't help it. I like the kid, and she's been around forever, so she understands how the thing works.
Crystal is the one who's been here longest, since 2005, been women's world champion multiple times, women's tag champion multiple times, and she's held some belts we retired or unified ages ago. If there's anyone who can step to Danielle for the Snarl Women's belt, it's Crystal, and they've already had fireworks in the past. It's not gonna sit good with Danielle no matter who wins, but I'm sure she doesn't want it to be Crystal Gabor.
Hey Tex, wherever you are in the building, Merry Christmas.
Also, from Sussex, England, and representing the UK ladies, here is Grace Fenwick.
Remember what I said about Danielle, not wanting Crystal to win? Well, it goes double for this heifer, crawling under the snakes. Not only do Grace Fenwick and Liberty Bell hate each other, but keep it 100 she'd be a foul Snarl Women's champion. She'd get booed out the Bill Den every night. I'm sure Grace is gonna do anything she can in this match. It's her kind of match all day. And watch her play in her sadist's playground. I for real hope she doesn't win though.
I for real hope she doesn't hurt anybody too bad. And remember everybody, there's only about 150 shopping days left before Christmas. Oh, Myron, you are not allowed to sit in Texas pickup truck with the windows rolled up ever again.
From San Jose, California, here is Brenda BLAIR.
She's the dark horse in this deal. Brenda, back with us for about a year now, has been up and down the ladies' roster for that whole time, racking up a hell of a lot more wins than losses, and she's going into this one with her eyes on Grace FENWICK. After their recent dust-up a few weeks back, safe to say, Grace don't like hardly anybody, and Brenda thinks she's slime, so they got that going into this one. And hey, some fans wouldn't mind seeing her pull it off, but there's a lot of seasoned veteran gals in this match.
If you're going based on track records alone, this match favors either Crystal Gabor or Faye Crawford. Brenda, she's got an outside shot, sure. I don't think Grace FENWICK does. Four big talents, a whole lot going on, and only one woman's going to be left at the end of it. This is definitely going to be very difficult for me to keep up with, so ladies and gentlemen, please have a little bit of forbearance for poor Mr. Hickson. Willie Johnson sounds the bell. Brenda BLAIR and Crystal Gabor, and Grace FENWICK and Faye Crawford going at it. FENWICK on the apron. Crystal Gabor drives a knee into the back of her former tag team partner, Brenda BLAIR. Offers a counter shot from Crystal Gabor. Grace FENWICK opens up with a series of shots on Faye Crawford in the corner. Now moves in on Brenda BLAIR. BLAIR catches a knee. Crystal Gabor with a flying kick on Grace FENWICK. Faye Crawford still in that corner. Crystal Gabor slams down Brenda BLAIR. A knee to the head from Faye Crawford. Crystal Gabor on Faye Crawford with a wheelbarrow DDT. Grace FENWICK goes behind on Crystal Gabor, drives a knee into her back. Brenda BLAIR on the outside, rolls herself back into the fray here. In the far corner, out comes Grace FENWICK. Faye Crawford takes her down. Brenda BLAIR gets Crawford into the far corner, goes behind on her, has her up. Beautiful counter roll-up from Crawford. One. Another counter. One. And yet another counter. One. And meanwhile, Crystal Gabor with a baseball bat wrapped in barbed wire. Grace FENWICK trying to put her to sleep. But no, Crystal Gabor counters with a jawjacker. Brenda BLAIR chokes out Faye Crawford, rolls to the outside. Brenda BLAIR gets a hold of Grace FENWICK. FENWICK whipped to the far corner. Crystal Gabor drives a knee into the back of Brenda BLAIR. Faye Crawford takes down Crystal with a running kick, takes down Grace FENWICK with a clothesline. Crystal Gabor with a flying kick on Faye Crawford. This one's chaotic. Crystal Gabor countered by Faye Crawford, a kick to the head. Brenda BLAIR goes to work on Faye Crawford. Crawford taken down. Grace FENWICK back in the fight. Brenda BLAIR tags her, whips Grace FENWICK to the outside. Crystal Gabor with a beautiful arm drag on Brenda BLAIR. Faye Crawford with a suplex and a clothesline to Crystal Gabor. A hip toss to Brenda BLAIR. Grace FENWICK coming back in from the outside. Faye Crawford with a hard shot to Brenda BLAIR. Grace FENWICK pummeling Crystal Gabor. It's gone to the outside for a moment. Brenda BLAIR rolled back in by Faye Crawford. Grace FENWICK in the far corner. Crystal Gabor smashes Brenda BLAIR into the opposing corner. Grace FENWICK. Woohoo! Faye Crawford with a chair quickly disarmed by Grace FENWICK. Whip to the ropes. Faye Crawford puts on the brakes. A knee to the head to Brenda Blair. Grace Fenwick covers. 1, 2, but no. Brenda Blair finding her way out of trouble here. Quickly taken down is Faye Crawford, and there's a drop kick from Crystal Gabor. Crawford rolls to the outside. Brenda Blair takes down Grace Fenwick. Blair moves to the outside. Goes after Faye Crawford. Drives a knee into her head. This Crystal Gabor with a trash can. But Brenda Blair going with a sweeper. Catches a jawbreaker from Gabor. Faye Crawford and Grace Fenwick going at it. The top right of your screen. Mid-left, Crystal Gabor and Brenda Blair. A Hurricane Rana from Crystal Gabor, who moves up towards Grace Fenwick. Gets whipped into the ring steps. Faye Crawford gets a hold of Grace Fenwick. Rolls her back inside the ring. Brenda Blair with that trash can and some bad intention. Decides against the trash can. And now, irritating Crystal Gabor and paying for it with a wheelbarrow DDT from Crystal the Pistol Gabor. Faye Crawford pummeling Grace Fenwick on the outside. Referee Willie Johnson, the fifth post in the middle of the ring. All he can do is watch. Whoa! Over the top rope, Brenda Blair. Oh! Grace Fenwick hits the El Kabong on Brenda Blair with that guitar. A DDT from Crystal Gabor on Grace Fenwick. Brenda Blair back on her feet. Faye Crawford back on her feet. A running kick right to the face of Grace Fenwick. Brenda Blair with Crystal Gabor. Crystal counters with elbows. Grace Fenwick gets a hold of Crystal. Takes her down hard. The Fairfield Fox. Faye Crawford stands center ring, waiting for something to happen. Brenda Blair rolled back inside. And Faye Crawford right there. Grace Fenwick continuing to work on Crystal Gabor on the outside. Faye Crawford off the ropes, flying fist. Takes down Brenda Blair. Again, a four-way elimination. Only one person left at the end. Faye Crawford working on Brenda Blair. Crystal Gabor with a Hurricane Rana on Grace Fenwick on the outside. Crawford whips Brenda to the far right corner. Grace Fenwick rolled inside the ring. Crystal Gabor going under. Here goes another guitar. Oh no, here we go. Brenda Blair disarms Crystal. There is a series of kicks. Faye Crawford again with the El Kabong on Crystal Gabor. And whoa, a brainbuster from Brenda Blair. 1, 2. We are going to have to get ourselves a cleaning crew in that ring after this one. Brenda Blair standing over Grace Fenwick. Faye Crawford with the failed high-risk maneuver there. Grace Fenwick catches a kick from Crawford. Brenda Blair on the outside. Crystal Gabor with Grace Fenwick. Faye Crawford head first into the turnbuckle. Crawford counters Crystal Gabor. Grace Fenwick on the outside. Brenda Blair on the outside. Blair moving in on Grace Fenwick. They lock up on the outside. Brenda Blair tossed down to the floor. Elbows from Crystal Gabor to Faye Crawford. The Fairfield Fox in the corner. Catches a kick from Crystal Gabor. Wow. Brenda Blair caught from behind by Crystal Gabor. An inverted DDT slammed headfirst in the count. Whoa! Grace Fenwick pitching the bat at Faye Crawford. 1, 2, and a 2 count. Grace Fenwick pitching that baseball bat wrapped in barbed wire right at the head of Faye Crawford. Crystal Gabor with an airplane spin and another near fall for Grace Fenwick. Brenda Blair out to lunch on the outside. Grace Fenwick with a foreign object. Whoa, just got disarmed. Whatever she had is gone now. Faye Crawford with some sadistic kicks to the sadistic Grace Fenwick. Crystal Gabor goes behind on Faye Crawford. The Fairfield Fox whip to the corner. Grace Fenwick sneaks up on Crystal, slams her face down to the canvas. Brenda Blair back inside the ring. Grace Fenwick with a series of shots, kicks, elbows, and down goes. Brenda Blair. Faye Crawford moves in. Facebuster to Grace Fenwick. Faye covers. 1, 2, 3, and that's it. Grace Fenwick has been eliminated. We're down to 3. Crystal Gabor whipped to the ropes. Faye Crawford with a hard right takes her down. A sleeper attempt from Brenda Blair on the Fairfield Fox. Faye Crawford counters with a jawbreaker. Crystal Gabor has rolled to the outside off the ropes. Rebound flying punch to Brenda Blair. Crystal Gabor returns. And whoa! Beautiful neckbreaker on the Fairfield Fox. Crystal covers 1, 2. Almost. Whoa! Brenda Blair pitching that bat at the head of Crystal Gabor. Faye Crawford takes Blair down. Blair counters. Back up on her feet. Crystal Gabor back to a standing position here. And a wheelbarrow DDT to Brenda Blair. Faye Crawford back to her feet on the outside. Crystal fails to connect with the moonsault on Brenda. Brenda follows up with a stomp to the shoulder of Crystal Gabor. Faye Crawford going under the ring. He's got a kendo stick. An elbow off the top rope. Oh, my. Cracked it right over Brenda's head. Faye Crawford covers 1, 2. And no. Crystal Gabor. I don't know where she's getting it from, but she powered out again. Brenda Blair coming to her senses on the outside. Faye Crawford slams the face of Crystal Gabor into the mat. Crystal Gabor in big trouble. Faye Crawford going to work. Crystal Gabor in trouble. Brenda Blair brains Faye Crawford with that guitar. And here we go. Whoa! Jumping neckbreaker, down she went. Brenda covers. 1, 2, 3. Faye Crawford is eliminated. It is down to Crystal Gabor and Brenda Blair. A sleeper attempt from Brenda on Crystal Gabor. Crystal almost fading, but counters with a jawbreaker. Could have been the end right there. Crystal Gabor gets a hold of her. A kick to the midsection. A beautiful flipping slam from Crystal Gabor. Brenda Blair turned over. Crystal gets a hold of the waist. Look at this. Whoa! What a suplex from Crystal the Pistol. Who's got that bat wrapped in barbed wire. Oh, right across the head of Brenda Blair. Brenda disarms her, delivers the shot to the midsection. Oh, no, Crystal Gabor in big trouble. Brenda Blair just unloading on Crystal Gabor with that bat. The barbed wire tearing into the flesh of Crystal Gabor. Crystal misses with the clothesline. Brenda Blair with a series of shots. Gets a hold of Crystal. And boom, knee right to the head and onto that bat again. Oh, just Brenda Blair rounds up Crystal Gabor, driving knee. Here's a cover and a hook of the leg. 1, 2. I absolutely do not believe it. Crystal Gabor powering out again somehow. Brenda with that jumping neckbreaker, and oh, that's it. She's gone too. Look at this. With her last ounce of strength, she has done it. Brenda Blair is the new #1 contender for the Snarl Women's Championship.
Here's the time of the final ball, exactly 13 minutes. And here's your winner, Brenda Blair.
Oh, you. I just caught a chill. I'm not hyping anything when I say Brenda Blair just had her greatest match since she's come back. That was amazing. Everyone thought it would be Crystal or Faye winning this one, and thank badness, Grace Fenwick was first to be eliminated. And once it came down to the final 2, I figured like everyone else, Crystal was going to finish Brenda off. But Brenda pulls the sudden surprise, drops the bombshell on Crystal, and Brenda Blair is going to the ball against Liberty Bell Danielle. At a date to be announced. Amazing performance from Brenda Blair. More rage right after the break, people.